And there it is.
I like this.
There's our jam.
Yes.
Our jam? Where's the nutcracker?
In a couple of weeks, it's all
Hey guys, oh my God, you gotta forgive me tonight. I'm a little bit of a raspy voice, a little bit under the weather the last couple of days, but we are here, January 2nd. Happy New Year to all of you.
Happy New Year.
Yes, hope you guys all had a wonderful holiday. And welcome to our Thursday evening space with Anything Goes with Marilla and Julia. And our special guest tonight, Jermelyn Barnes and her husband. I want to make sure I pronounce it right. Is it Yarden?
What were you going to say?
Okay, I was going to say something close to that.
No, say it.
No, I was going to say something close to that.
Yarden, that's what you're going to say, right?
I was actually hoping you would correct me first before I said it. Yarden, okay.
Yes.
It's such a unique name, right? We're so excited. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, we can never do the show without thanking Frequency 5 FM and Maria and Joseph, all of you wonderful people that have supported us from the very beginning. We are coming up to almost 1 year doing this show. We are so stoked for what's coming up, and we couldn't do it without the love and support of all of you guys. Thank you so much. And here we are tonight, the first show of 2020, and every show is special, right? Yes. Every show is special. We wanted to do our debut show. We wanted it to be Jermelyn and Yarden tonight because, as we said and mentioned yesterday, excuse me, we have been promoting our winter series part 1, Inside a Woman's World. Mm-hmm. And we've got some fantastic ladies that are going to be joining us over the next 6 to 7 weeks on the show. And I just thought it was really amazing to have these guys tonight to talk a lot about, or a little bit, depends on how much or how little, right? We'll see how it goes.
No, a lot.
We'll see how it goes.
This isn't water. Okay? This isn't water. It's this type of show tonight.
It's this type of show.
Is it really? No,
it's not.
It's this type of show. We don't need alcohol, right?
Yeah, no, we don't.
But we're going to talk about relationships. And we've touched upon this subject almost every week on our show since the beginning because we feel that relationships of any kind is a very prevalent part of our life, right?
Definitely.
And we always talk about how we know our guests on the show. And I got to tell you, I reached out, Jermelyn and I were Facebook friends for a while, and I reached out to her one day and I said, how are you? I love your vibe. I want to have a call with you, and the rest is history.
It was Dunzo. Drop the mic.
That's it.
That was it.
It was amazing,
It was
right?
like I said, you're the black version of me.
You always say this. You always say this, right?
We're full of spunk.
Oh, and the first time we had a meeting, like 6 hours later, and then I had the pleasure of meeting Yarden as well, and I knew right away, instant connection. One thing I love about these guys is, they've been very open and very, transparent about sharing their truth. They do, and I'm going to let them talk about this a bit later, but they do pillow talk on their, page every Friday night, and they've been very open. Jermelyn with her Beauty for Ashes, just about marriage and the trials and the triumphs. And you know what? After I mentioned what we were going to be talking about tonight, a lot of people were like, oh, this is a good one. This hits home. I really want to tune in tonight. I'm not glad, but it's really interesting to see that, other people are talking about this, right? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So, having said that, I think it's very important that everybody just share and talk about, what's going on. Okay. We got it.
Yes.
Okay.
We got it.
So Jermelyn's a relationship coach, but let's get started. I mean, Julia and I are always talking about dating and relationships. It's like it haunts us, and we have our own stories, lots of stories.
Yes.
Yeah.
What would you guys say? I mean, you guys have been married 21 years.
Yes, we have.
Together 24, 25.
24 and a half.
These two are the most beautiful
half
people, I
always
swear to God. Right? What?
24 and a half.
And the
Don't
half.
forget the half.
24 and a half.
I had to insert that.
Right?
You had to
24 and a
know.
When you go
half.
on a date, how old are you, sir? 26 and a half.
Yeah.
26 and a half.
Listen to me. 24 and a half is a long time.
It's a long
24
love
is a
that.
long time, but you got to add that half in there,
A
right?
half is a long time for some people.
Yeah.
Just starting in a relationship.
Yeah.
It's either make or break.
You know,
it's
it's-
just starting.
Sometimes people will say to me, "Oh, I was in a relationship, a significant relationship. And it ended. How long did it go for? Oh, like 6 months. But they consider 6 months significant. Back in my day, 6 months. Well, 10 years was like 6 months.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So being married for so long, and listen, that is a testament in this day and age, right?
Yeah.
What would you guys say have been some of the lessons, some of the biggest lessons for you guys?
Do you want to take this one?
Oh, it's all yours.
It's 21 years.
It's like,
It's all yours.
Go into it for me there, my husband.
I take the mic. Okay, no. First of all, I just want to say thank you guys for having us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes.
Anytime.
You're really
Welcome.
grateful.
2020, we met Mirella, and she's just awesome. We met
Thank
Julia,
you.
Awesome.
Thank
Yes.
you.
I was actually hoping
stop.
there was a DJ, 'cause I was going to say, let's start off with some music.
Oh, I know. And dancing.
She's an amazing dancer, So.
Dancer
Thank
and
you.
singing.
You gotta
Save
teach
that
me.
for
You
the
gotta
end.
teach me
Never
some
know.
moves. You gotta teach me some moves.
But at the event, 1 minute, it was like anything goes show. Okay, we have our speakers, we got our, and then all of a sudden it turned into like the biggest wedding party ever.
It was
And I was like-
fantastic.
We released some videos, and everybody's dancing. Everyone's having a great time. Everyone's like and what I loved about that, since you mentioned it, is that we were trying to emulate our show,
Yeah.
and we do try to embrace our love of dance and music in it, right? So to see everybody come together, we were so proud of it. It was awesome.
I think the vibes that you guys have alone on the show, it was. We had to reenact that.
Yes.
Because we're in person. It's different when you're on camera. Yeah, I want to be a part of the enjoyment. I want to be a part of the excitement the two of you guys hold here. So now that we're in a space, all of us, let's do it. Let's connect. Let's dance and really just kind of get the party going.
I see this one over here doing her Latin salsa moves, and
Oh
before
my
you know
gosh.
it,
Sexy,
I was
sexy.
impressed.
My feet were killing me, and I'm like, no, I can't. My feet are killing me. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, this is
Not about that,
my song.
But
Yes.
you did a good job.
Thank you.
you know what? We're so proud of
Thank-
that event. But more importantly, we're very proud of everybody coming together for that event. I know a lot of people mentioned they really wanted to be there and couldn't, and I get that. But what we were really proud about is that every single person that was there, whether they were a speaker or a performer or Benjamin or DJ, or just guests, have all been a very integral part of this show and
Yes.
this movement.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like I say, it's only the beginning.
Yes.
And this is what we do, and this is what we
We're
do.
happy to be a part of it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, totally.
you.
We met some really awesome people there, and we connect to this day. It's always great to meet great people and have strong connections and just build the great vibes from there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
thank you so much for giving us the opportunity and inviting us to your event. It was fantastic.
Oh, no
and here
problem.
we are in a different setting,
Yeah.
a more intimate
Yeah.
setting where we can speak and
Yes.
talk about things that
I
we
have
need
to tell
talk
you,
about.
before Yarden gets into the lessons, the marriage lessons, I just wanted to share that it's very unusual, or not unusual, it's very uncommon nowadays for people to be very open and transparent about what they're going through.
Yes.
Okay? People don't want to have to say, I'm depressed, or my relationship is ending, or I got fired from a job, or whatever the case may be, right? They want to hide it, and I think it's just because they feel shame and
Yes.
they feel, and they're going to be judged.
Yes.
And what I really like about the kind of movements that I see, certain movements that I see on social media and certain movements that I see in the real world, is that people are starting to feel a lot more comfortable, maybe not with everyone, but they know who they can trust enough to be like, you know what, this is my truth.
Yes.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
And you know what, I can relate to people like that.
Yes,
Me too,
yes,
exactly.
and that goes
know,
back to, as you mentioned, the Beauty for Ashes program that I have.
Yes.
It's just about that, being transparent, and not being ashamed of your circumstance, whatever it is. Having the ability to share it, and you know what you're sharing is a help to somebody else. You understand what I'm saying? So, definitely transparency and feeling safe. Most definitely feeling safe
Yeah.
with the people around you or the people that you don't know. But being able to open up, that releases a lot of things within you, and it starts a healing process.
Right.
So, yeah.
No, and healing is, and we're going to talk about healing tonight for sure. So we'll talk to hubby over here.
So what was the question?
Yeah,
Some of the-
lessons,
some of the
21 years of
lessons.
marriage.
So, okay.
How far
hot
would you like to go? No.
here's one of the biggest lessons, I think, for me, and it's something that I speak to my daughters about because they're young adults. dating, you know, and
Yes.
trying to date.
Yeah, trying
Trying to
to
Yeah, they're
date.
trying to
Trying to date.
Yes.
You know, so I think, and I was speaking to my wife about it, that one of the things for me is when you're entering into a relationship, you know, because obviously you're going to date first and
Yeah.
then go into your, you know,
And get to know.
hopefully you get married. You know, you find the right person, you get married. One of the things I find is that people are coming into relationships broken.
Yeah.
They're carrying
Oh, yeah.
all their
Yes.
baggage
Yes.
from past relationships.
That's big.
Right?
That's big. Very true.
And they're bringing it into their relationships and into their marriages. And what happens is you've already now started. You're already behind the 8 ball. Marriage is hard enough, right? But when you start off, because you're basically coming to a marriage half a person. You haven't.
Right.
Who knows what it is? You could have dated, been hurt, someone cheated on you, you've been hurt, been abused,
Yes.
mentally, emotionally, physically,
Yes.
whatever could have taken place in your life.
Yes.
Not only that, maybe even past traumas from
Childhood, yeah.
right? Abandonment issues, whatever your
Yeah.
issues are, whatever
Yeah.
those issues are.
Yeah, yeah.
We all, it's life, right? We're in this life, and I think for me, one of the things I can say is, for example, I grew up I didn't know my real father. My mom later remarried, and you know, I had a stepfather, but not having a father, or feeling feeling rejected or abandoned by my real father. Never really knew him. I knew him up until I was 6 years old, so I have no memory of it. There's an abandonment issues. I never felt validated as a child, so you kind of go through. Then my mom remarried, but even my stepfather, now we didn't have a good relationship. He was just negative, and you know, there's a long story behind that.
Right. Right.
But again, feeling a little bit of a rejection. So here I am now. I meet my wife, you know, and I've obviously talked to other women before, you know, dated and, you know, as a teenager, dated and been in relationships. Not really having a father figure or a role model for what a relationship is, what a man's supposed to be,
Right.
what that looks like.
Right.
So I'm carrying all this. I'm carrying all this into my marriage, into my relationship. Then here's my wife on
Yes.
her side.
Yes.
She's gone through,
And I can speak to that.
right, and you'll speak to that. So,
Yeah.
but the lesson I guess what I'm trying to say in that is that it's important to just, whatever your issue was that you dealt with, deal with it. Right?
Yes.
Deal
Yeah.
with it before
Yeah.
you enter
Yeah.
into the
Something
relationship.
else, yes.
Find yourself. Get to know yourself. Love yourself. Heal whatever that trauma is. Heal. Be a whole person. And then when you do find that person that you're
Yeah.
dating, looking to marry, you're already whole. And hopefully they're doing the same thing.
Can I
right?
tell you something?
Yeah.
If I may, at
That's
this
actually
point.
the best thing I've heard.
Oh my God! First of all,
great.
round of applause for that. Round of applause for that. And I'm going to tell you why. You nailed it. 100%. And, you know, Julia, who is 24, will tell you that, you know, in her dating world,
Yeah.
she's experienced that, right? And I'm going to tell you in
Oh,
my
yeah,
50s,
I still say it now.
right? You know, I got to tell you, I have to thank you very much. And the reason I want to thank you is because for me, okay, for 10 years, well, I'm widowed, and everyone who knows me knows that. And for a long time afterwards, I wasn't even thinking about the dating scene and what have you. When I reemerged just in recent years, just to try to get my feet wet again, right? You got to remember, like, here I was, and I was really hard on myself, right? Because I was thinking, Marla, like, why aren't you meeting the men for you?
you, right.
Like, I mean, I had the men for me, but I'm saying, even as a companion, why is it so difficult? Well, you know why? I'll tell you why. Because I was trying to heal and fix everything that was going on with me. I was trying to find that self-love again, that self-worth again, that self-assurance again. In the meantime, everybody that I was meeting was going through their own brokenness
Right.
of stuff,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Right.
How could they have the capacity for me
Exactly.
and vice versa?
And you're in a room
Right?
full of those broken people trying to date broken people.
Right.
Oh,
What you
yeah.
end up doing too is you tend to kind of look to that person
Yes.
to fix you.
To fix you.
So you put all this expectation on someone who's broken themselves.
Yes.
They can't fix.
They can't even drive to
fix
the Tim's
themselves.
for a coffee. Shout out to Tim's. Happy New Year.
Shout out to Tim's. Happy New Year.
We always give them, our favorite friend.
Oh my God. But
You know,
Julia, what?
oh no, but it's true though, because I always say, like, even now, like, okay, if looking back, okay, 3 years ago when my mental health started to show itself a little more, where I was like, I can't hide it anymore.
Yeah.
It's now like destroying my body.
Yeah.
Not on the inside. Now it's on
Physically.
on the
Yeah.
outside.
Yes.
Outside, yeah.
I said, how do I expect myself to be in a relationship when I'm feeling like this?
Yes.
Because if I'm feeling like this, if I'm with someone who I care about, they're gonna start feeling like that.
Yeah.
If not themselves.
And,
right?
and often, sometimes you do is you hide that emotion.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't show them.
No.
So how can they love Julia for Julia? You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's very true.
And
Yeah.
it's actually it hurts a lot. Hence why I've taken that time to focus on myself
Yes.
and be single.
Good.
Yeah. Applause.
Not
Applause.
that we're happy that you're single.
Oh no, I'm happy that I'm
Right?
single.
But you're taking time for yourself.
Yourself.
I'm dating myself. Disney Plus is my boo, okay? Oh, honey, you looking good today. That subscription look good on you. That renewal look even better. You know what I'm saying?
She keeps it real.
Yeah,
She
I don't
keeps it
care,
real.
I love
honestly.
it. I love it.
So
So
we're
we're in
gonna-
that we're in that element.
We're gonna just see who's on, and then we're gonna get to you
Yes.
because I know you got your own story. And listen, I gotta tell you right now, we could go 3-4 hours on this.
Talk all.
No, I'm telling you, you know, you guys just are very, very compelling because you do keep it real. There's no like pretentiousness and there's no pretending, you know.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we put a lot of excuse me, pressure on ourselves to make a relationship work,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I mean, I was married and with my husband for almost 30 years.
Yes.
I know one thing, it took two people to make it work,
Yes.
right? So it takes two people to make it work. It also takes two people to have it disintegrate
Yes.
and what have you. I couldn't fix a relationship when I'm trying to like, you know,
Yeah.
heal myself.
Yeah.
And you know what? I was having such a hard time with it. And then I realized, you know what? A lot of people are going through this, and I really should cut myself some slack.
You should,
It took
yeah.
me a little while to
Yeah.
get there, though.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see who we got. Oh, Yusuf from Dubai
Hey.
is on.
Vortex.
How are you?
Nickname
Well,
Vortex.
Yeah.
Can I get a
Yusuf.
ticket? Can I get a ticket?
Yes. Gary Henry. Hey, Gary,
Take
how
'em.
are
Hi,
you?
Gary.
He says, Happy New Decade. Love y'all. We've got, Julia Scalise is on the line.
Who's that?
We got Arlette.
no
Hey,
idea who that
Arlette, lovely. How are you? She says, good evening.
Is it hot in here?
Gary Henry says, this is lit. We told you. We told you.
Yes, Gary.
We've got Arturo Flores. He says, hi, everybody. How are you? Victoria Laurent Fabish. Hey, lovely. How are you? Thank you so much
Hi,
for tuning
Victoria.
in. Heather
Hello.
Linus Lindsay. Hey, lovely. How are you? Thank you so much for tuning in. She says, greetings all. Renato is watching. Hey, Renato.
Renato.
And he's also in the
Hello.
house tonight. Ramsey's watching. Hey, Ramsey, how are you? He says, hey, ladies, Happy New Year. Of course, Jermalyn Patricia Barnes is watching.
I'm tuned in.
Ramsey says hello. Lorna Dillon is watching. Hey, Lorna, how are you? Happy New Year to you, lovely. These are just all
Hello.
wonderful, wonderful
Yes.
people and supporters of the show, you know.
Yes.
Yusuf says, don't forget the half. Never forget
Oh, yeah.
the half.
Never forget the half. The 24 and a half.
24 and a half.
Never forget the half.
Never forget the half. Lorna says, Happy New Year, beautiful ladies. Just stopping by to show some love. Thank you so much. Laura Sanzo is watching. Hi, Laura. Thank you so much for tuning in. Lydia Malfara, hi. My longtime family friend is watching. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Lorna says, Happy and blessed New Year, everyone. Phil G is watching, also known as, and this always gets everybody's reaction. His Instagram name is Douchebag Guido.
Okay.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah, and he does videos, and he actually talks a lot about this whole modern dating thing. and
Okay.
It's hilarious.
All right.
Hey, Phil, how's it going? Ryan
Hello.
Raiden is watching. Hey, Ryan, Happy New Year to you. Johnny is watching. Johnny Bezdeo is watching. It kind of flew me because he's got Johnny Lala,
Hello.
but it's Johnny Bezdeo.
Welcome. Happy
Lala,
New Year.
Let's just say Happy New Year to you. Frank Nastasi is watching. Hey, Frank,
Frank.
how are you? Heather says applause. So again, some amazing people. Arlette says very true that people coming into relationships to find healing instead of healing before
Yes.
coming. People are
Yes.
looking for a savior.
Yeah.
You know what? That's very, very true.
Profound.
And I got to tell you, this discussion tonight is really helping me as well. And I know Julia, and I know a lot of people because I used to beat myself up. I cannot stress that enough. And I really appreciate this because, you know, when I was kind of getting back into the dating, I was like a fish out of water. But you know what? Back in my day, right? Things were, before technology, social media, before dating apps, things were simple. Somebody liked you, they just came up to you and said, hey, I
Yeah,
like you,
I
want to
like
go
you.
grab dinner or something,
Yeah.
right? Nowadays, it's
Oh
like,
yeah, now it's back and forth. Show up with 10 women, 9 women, then it's this, then maybe a man, then
not
you're
even
over
any
here, then you're
communication.
drinking a vodka bottle, then you're going crazy,
yeah, and then
you
it's
enter
like,
a mental institute.
and we're friends with benefits, but no, we're just friends, but no, I like you, but
No,
no,
but
not
you know
really,
what?
but
Not-
no, I
not-
want
yeah.
more, but no, I don't know. Like,
Okay, tonight
So
I'm going with somebody
confused.
else.
As you can tell, I'm a bit
tonight I'm
heated.
going with somebody I don't
I'm
get
heated.
it. I'm so
Options,
confused.
Too much options.
Yusuf says, I feel you on that 100%. It's really hard not having that father figure in your life.
Yes.
Just because they can't be there in your life doesn't mean it's impossible to learn how to be a man.
Yes.
Yusuf, thank
so
you so
true.
much. That's very, very
Yep.
true.
Respect.
Karen Leslie is watching. Hey, lovely, how are you? She says, Happy New Year, everyone. Kim Wilson. Hey, Kim, Happy New Year. She says, it's important to make sure we are okay with ourselves before we get into relationships.
Yep.
You know what? Absolutely 100%. I agree with that. And you know what? Like, listen, I'm not going to say that I haven't been broken. Oh my God. Are you kidding? Yes. But at the same time, you reach a point where you are so powerful in your own self-assurance that you know what you won't settle for.
That's right. That's right. That's important. You
Right?
You gotta have a level of.
Like, I used to dumb it down for people, and I'm like, I'm not dumbing it down for you. Like, if you can't see my value and my worth, thank you next.
Exactly.
Right? Kim says, Happy New Year. Robert Moore is watching. Hi, Robert. Thank you so much for tuning in. Gary says, awesome. Real talk. I told you guys it would be. Karen Leslie says, I was a big mess with many mental health issues when we got married. I have an amazing husband who is still with me after 28 years.
Nice.
That's
Wow.
so nice.
Nice, very nice. Beautiful.
That's so nice.
Thank you, live studio audience in the Warner Bros. lot.
Heather Ryan says, I wonder if there is really a sure fix for lifelong issues, for example, abandonment, etc.
Yes.
It seems to rear its head at the most surprising and illogical times
Yes.
and whammies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Frank says, Happy New Year, guys. Ryan Raiden
Happy
says,
New
Happy
Year.
New Year and
Happy
happy
New Year.
new decade. Are you ready to rule 2020? I know I am.
I have
Started.
that
It
mindset.
started.
An hour into it, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my God,
Yeah.
what are my plans for 2021?" I was already thinking it. I felt
You're
rushed.
there already?
I felt
I
rushed.
know, I know.
We go out, and I'm like, there's people like, okay, there's no one in front of you, and then there's someone like this close to you, and you're like, honey, and then I just felt rushed.
I know.
I was like, this was the destination. It's like I'm going anywhere
I have
else.
to.
but
I have to
felt
tell
rushed.
you, like
I was so
New Year's
agita.
Eve,
Oh
we were
my
having a
God.
good time and everything, but I started to feel like I was just coming down with
Oh.
something. And I said to Julia, I go, Julia, I said, I don't know, like, because we've been going nonstop,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yesterday, I spent the whole day in bed. Today, pretty much the same thing. I was just like, my
We did
body
that
needs
too.
Right?
that
Yeah,
rest.
we did that too.
Netflix. We binged on
Yeah,
Netflix.
we binged
Right?
watching
But you need
Netflix.
that.
Yes, Netflix.
And
Absolutely.
it's okay.
It's all right.
That was a date night.
That's
or
okay.
date.
Date. That's perfect. I love that. Oh, don't worry. I'm going to ask you what some of your fun dates are, okay? So just get ready. Hey, Jimmy, how are you? He says, Happy New Year. Lydia says, Happy New
Hello,
Year.
Happy
Jimmy
New
says, share the
Year.
love in the video. Thank you so much. Jimmy says, pillow talk. Oh, yes. Jermalin's going to talk a little bit about that. He says, does pillow talk also mean pillow fight?
2 winky faces.
Oh dear. Well, we never know. We can't implement something such as.
Who knows?
We'll talk. We'll think
see a
about
pillow
that.
fight on Pillow Talk.
Yes, possibly, right? So tell me, okay,
idea.
21 years married.
Yes.
What are some of the lessons? Your husband really said it. Like
Yes.
he said some pretty profound and very truthful things.
Yes, yes.
What are your thoughts about the
Well,
lessons in your marriage?
For me, it took me a long time to find myself.
Yeah.
And I did that in my marriage. It took a lot of ups and downs. Our marriage ultimately died and came back to life.
Yeah.
And it was expected to, because here you have 2 young people, and just like my husband, I went through a traumatic stage through my life. And to this day, when I even talk about it, I get emotional about it, because it's kind of hard to really accept the things that you've been through and accept the things that you're going through. And for me, as a child, I suffered with abandonment and not even realizing or acknowledge that's something that I went through.
Right.
You know, feeling
Right.
still in a sense of abandonment
Oh,
and
yeah.
so forth.
Hey, this is my life.
Right.
You think it's
You're not putting a name to it.
normal,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it's
Yeah.
not normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was very traumatic for me, and I'll list before I go in. I've suffered abandonment. I suffered abuse, physical, psychological, emotional abuse. It was just a wad of things, and again, it took me some time to really accept that this is what's going on with me. I spent a lot of my years hiding things inside, and so you saw this confident woman externally, but internally I was torn. I was just, it was a facade. At least I'm realizing that. But for me, like I said, I left Jamaica as a young child without any option of my own. I was just one day told that I'm going to live in Canada. And I was 7 years old.
Wow.
So my mom had me young. And I didn't have a relationship with my mom, which is sometimes the typical norm. You know, your grandparent raises you, and
Yeah,
your mom
yeah.
and your dad is, and so forth. So my mom and my dad were not together, and that's a whole different story all to itself. But in coming to Canada, I was adopted, and I was adopted within my home, my family, right? And it was kind of weird just to think, you know, you're coming and you're just kind of like dropped into a family setting that you're not
country.
new
Yeah.
country,
Yeah.
Not
new
used to.
people,
Yeah.
new friends, and all of this. And it's like,
you're
okay.
7.
And I'm 7 years old. So there is definitely a fear, a sense of like, you know, feeling like what's going on here, you know? But I learned to adapt. And also coming from an island, I have a very strong tongue, right? My accent. So I was made fun of by my actual family, which is my cousins. So I took that as just kids being kids, but not understanding that also digs deep inside, right?
Yeah,
It's setting
yeah,
some
yeah,
form
yeah.
of insecurity within you. So I learned to adapt to the culture and the language, and you know, trying to reform myself and transform myself into where I am now, because this is now my new home. But the relationship with the family member that took me on was very traumatic. She was very abusive psychologically, not understanding what that was, and I couldn't deal with it. I actually attempted suicide because I didn't understand what was going on. I just knew that I felt lonely, and I felt like, thank you. I just felt, thank you so much, honey. And I felt really lonely inside. I was always a social person, but when I went home, that's where the loneliness felt, you know, where I felt it the most. And to be blamed and accused and being told that you're this and that and all of these things, it was really overwhelming. And
it was physical.
and it was
Yeah.
also physical as well too. And I always had this vision, because when I came up from Jamaica, my dad, I remember seeing him standing on a, I don't know, like a platform type of thing. So it's always that vision, that image that's in my head. And I just recall him, always recall that. And my father was always my savior. And anytime I'm feeling down, I just always felt, I always went into daddy mode. Although I didn't speak to him quite often, but my dad was always someone special to me. And I just felt like he rescued me from whatever. I just felt like he was my rescuer. So anyhow, in going through my dilemmas being at home, I just one day decided that I don't want to be here anymore. You know, I tried to commit suicide, and I thought, you know what, no. But prior to that, I was actually hearing noises in my head, like voices. So I knew something was wrong, but I couldn't go to the person that was actually causing the damage
Yeah,
on me,
yeah,
because
yeah.
I was fearful of that individual.
Yeah,
I actually
yeah.
even acquired an ulcer because I was fearful.
Oh, my God.
And so forth. But nonetheless, you know, my life just went down the road from there. I actually end up leaving home, running away from home at the age of 16. I planned it. So it wasn't one of those, like, I legitimately planned because I knew strategically what was going to happen.
Right.
I was always working. I was always in sports. I was always active. And I left home, and I fell into, you know, whatever. And I fell into I met someone, and I thought, okay, this person's is gonna rescue me now, because that's what I was looking for.
Right.
I was looking for a rescue.
Right.
Still not identifying.
Like someone said, a savior.
Yes.
Yep.
I was looking for, because remember, I remember my father always saving me. So it felt like this person I met he was my savior. He's going to save the day for me, and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But this person turned out being abusive as well. And he was
Oh, my
physical
goodness.
abusive, emotional abusive, psychologically abusive.
Wow.
So it's
you
like
know,
into the,
utmost.
what is it? From the frying pan into the fire.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Right?
Yes.
Oh.
And I suffered. And you know the sad thing about it is, as much as I understood the abuse, as much as I fought with, I did not want to leave. And that's what kind of happens, right? You're already insecure within yourself. So you're still holding on with the hopes that something is going to change, right? Something's
Yeah.
going to happen. And I don't want to go back there. I was adamant I was not going home. And I'm going to find a way to succeed outside of this
Imagine though how bad home was to
Yes,
stay in a
to stay in
situation like
something
that.
Yes, this felt better because for me, I wanted to prove something. I wanted to prove that I can accomplish, and I can
Yeah.
do whatever my
Amen.
mind sets. That was my goal.
Yes.
I wanted to prove to my family that I'm going to be successful one day, and I'm going to, be this better person, And even one of the things that sticks out to me going through that stage is that same individual. She told me that I was stupid. She told me that I would amount to nothing, and if I left home, I was going to be a prostitute. So how do you tell a young child? And keep in
That's
mind,
nice.
I'm only like 15 years of age.
So I
right?
just want to say to that person,
Right?
Yes.
yeah.
Right?
Go F yourself.
Okay, well, I wasn't gonna
look at
say,
me now, right?
but I was just, she's more
I'm
like,
sorry. Was
yeah,
I
I'm trying
not
to be
supposed to
polite.
say
and
that?
she's
The
just
younger Morello. This is how
she's the younger umbrella. Well, I'm like that too.
You're just being professional on that.
My bad.
I'm
I'm
just
just
being professional.
professionally honest.
Yes.
You want it? You want the tea? Well, here it is.
Yeah.
I don't give it to you
And you
warm.
know
I
why?
give it to you hot.
And you know why I looked at Julia earlier, because this is something that I want us to chat about too. You guys both said it, and we had a conversation about this earlier tonight. Whether it's a friendship, but we'll talk about it in dating scenario with a significant other or a potential significant other. Julia says it often about how you feel like you're a therapist to these guys.
Oh my God.
Do you want to talk about
Okay.
that for a minute?
Okay.
Because I think it's really important.
I actually didn't start feeling this way probably until the last 2 years that I noticed that was an actual feeling
Right.
for this kind of thing. So it'd be like, okay, there's a person in my case. Okay, so there's a guy. All right. And then I noticed, okay, I have like a lot of my friends are guys, right?
Yeah.
So my friends are guys, right? And I know how to talk to.
Yeah, me too.
You
I had
do,
a
yeah.
lot of guy friends.
Yeah,
I was
you
a
know-
tomboy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There we go. A tomboy. And I'm like, I know okay, yo, bro, you want to go to the
and
you wanna
everyone
go to the
feels
game?
comfortable
Like,
talking
whatever.
to you. Yeah.
So I would be like talking to them, and they would feel like, I guess, safe. They would
Right,
trust
right.
me. They would talk to me. But it got to a point where I felt less of a friend and more like someone who should be getting paid.
Yeah.
As a counselor,
Like just sitting there, like I'm like,
Service,
I'm
yeah.
asking, like, how are you? You
Yeah.
know, how are you? Doesn't ask how I'm doing. Well, they
Yes.
ask how you're doing, but you're like,
Yes.
yeah, I'm okay. Oh, I gotta tell you something. And I'm like, what do you guys tell me? 4 hours on the phone, and it's talking. I'm like, okay, there's only so much I can say,
Yeah.
but it goes on. It's a continuously,
Yes.
like it's a thing, a
but
repetitive
you know what's
thing.
hard about that? If you like them or you
Yeah,
were hoping
well,
for,
I'm getting
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
Ma,
I
I'm
know,
getting to it.
I know.
Ma,
we would
just chill.
Ma,
relax.
just chill
I
out.
know.
Okay.
We spent enough time together. I
But
know.
we would be sitting there, and I'm like, okay. But the thing is, like, I don't mind. Listen, I don't mind it. Listen, talk to me.
Yeah.
You trust me, okay? But at the same time, it's like, okay, listen, I'm mentally preparing you for someone else. Well, the
Yes.
person you're looking for is right here.
Yes.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
funny,
That's
yeah.
happened to me as well.
So I'm over here, like, and then when they get to that person, they say to me, listen, Julia, like, listen, I just don't want to, like, screw this up. You're just a
Yes.
great friend. Listen, I don't mind the friend zone. I don't care.
Yeah.
But tell me before. Don't
yeah.
pull that whole, listen, I wanted to, like, date
Utilize my
you.
services
Yeah.
and then tell
But,
me.
like, you know, I'm
But
like,
it's true. She gets them mentally
I
and
get it
emotionally
all
ready
the
for the
time.
next person, and that person was right there the whole time.
yeah, and I'm just like, oh, so you're looking
How
for
many
someone to
people have
talk to, someone to
experiences? I
trust,
wanna
someone
know.
who makes
Let
you
us
laugh.
know.
So
Yeah.
it's what we're doing right now in this moment. I'm making you laugh. I'm making you feel safe. I'm getting you coffee. I'm getting you food. I'm letting you use my Netflix, and this is what I get.
No,
I
not
get
the
shunned.
Netflix.
Not
You
the
gave up the
Netflix.
Netflix.
I get freaking shunned.
Oh my
like I'm
gosh.
nothing. You think I
Right?
heard from these people
Right.
anymore?
Crazy.
But the thing is, it's like our friendship means a lot. Even I don't
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
date
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
happy.
right.
I'm
Yeah.
happy where I'm
Yeah,
at. Okay.
yeah.
But at the same time,
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like you want to like give me a little bit of a crumb, a little scrump, you know, give me a little
But
taste.
you also get to see how they are as a person, though.
Yeah,
right?
but I don't hear from them. It's like, thank you, Julia. So he's like, listen, you're so great. Like this and that. Ask me if I heard from all 15 of them. From the amount of time I spent, I
You
could
could
have
have
been married with 10 kids by now.
You could have been making a hell of a lot of money as a counselor.
Yeah, but there's got to be a balance. You know,
Yeah.
ask how I'm literally, I'm not even joking, like on a serious note, I'm mentally like being destroyed,
Yes.
but then I put the wall up and then I'm helping them
Yeah.
with their thing. And listen, it's like, I want to see you succeed.
Yeah.
I want to see the great in
Yeah.
you. I want to see this. I want to see you, make that with your significant other, if you don't know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
But, you know, I want to see all of that, but like, who's helping me?
Don't like they shouldn't be dragging you down in the process.
Yeah, it's
and
like
you,
my hair is being pulled.
You're helping to build them. They should be helping to build
and you know
Yeah.
what? And you know what?
Yeah.
The other thing too is I get if people are just friends, but there's no need, even if you're close friends, if you're close enough to be talking about your innermost thoughts and feelings, right? There's no need to be disrespecting the other person
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
And sometimes that happens as
Yeah.
well.
Yep.
Yeah,
Do you know
like
what I
let
mean?
me see like a little form of respect here, but all you need, you just, you want to cut me off the minute your sessions are over.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, I gotta
listen,
go
you
now.
know, I got taxes. Taxes are coming up. I need an invoice.
So that's what you need to do. You need to send them.
I
an
need a
invoice
receipt.
of what
Oh
you've
yeah,
done,
oh
That
yeah.
might
But,
be in your future.
And by the way,
right?
here's your receipt.
like, I'm not
I
disappointed.
charge by the hour.
Exactly. I'm not disappointed that nothing happened in like a romantic way,
Yeah.
but I'm disappointed that the friendship is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that means the most to me.
Yeah.
But the fact is, it's like, really?
And you know what? What's really
Maybe
not
we could have
surprising?
grown.
She knew like
I knew, too,
Well,
the
both of
minute.
us always know.
The minute.
Like you can tell, and it's kind of like, listen, we're not sitting there going, okay, state your intentions before I start my counseling session. You know,
This is why
I'm not-
people do the nasty on the first date, so they know, okay, am I going to be disappointed in 2 weeks, or should we just do this now?
Let's do this.
So I'm not wasting my time for 2 weeks. I need to know all the details on your body from head to toe, everything. I need to know personality, how you make love, how you do this, if you pay for coffee, if you want to meet at Tim's at 2 o'clock in the morning. Just let me know something.
If you always wear
It ain't gonna
sweatpants.
work. Done. Next. Yes, I'm free Tuesday night. I got you, hun. Let's go.
She speaks the truth. I
Sorry,
can't
Tina,
even-
you caught me on a very
Lay it
fragile
out.
day, too. Like, today
It's
is,
a
I'm
new
done.
year. It's a new year.
I'm finished.
Okay, let's see what people are saying here.
I'm
We got
sweating.
Arlette. She says, "Oh, you keep going, baby." You keep going. Arlette says, "Know what you want. Know what you will or will not be comfortable with. Trust your instincts, 100%." And you know what? My instincts are never wrong, but sometimes I don't listen to them. And you know why? It's not because I don't. It's not because I don't want to listen to them. It's because I believe in people, right? It's because I want to see the best in people, right?
Looking for the best.
But going back to what you're saying, you know what? I had to learn that it's actually less about me and not taking it personally, and more about them and what capacity or lack thereof they have.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right.
Right?
That's right. That's so
Ryan
true.
Radin says, excuse me, beware of those who appear as saviors, as they will become the ones who are your captors
Yes.
and will make you feel imprisoned. I had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah.
Excuse me, guys.
Okay.
Shirley says there are so many abusers out there. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
There are too many.
Yes.
And a lot of times people just don't talk about it and they don't do anything about it. And it's like they feel like they're at the mercy. And this is not acceptable behavior, you know? Gary says, dang, bang, anything for real. I'm telling you. Stacey Walcott is watching. Hey, Stacey, Happy New Year. She says, Happy New Year. Karen Leslie says, what a beautiful and amazing person emerged out of that hardship.
Honestly, I've been keeping that in for a year, maybe
What?
more.
What?
But she had to.
Like,
she had to release.
I'm sweating. My palms are sweaty. My head, I'm done. Like,
That's like a Eminem. Isn't that the Eminem
my
8 Mile
palms are
song?
sweaty. You know. I don't know the rest.
Yusuf says, tell him straight up, don't drag it on. Jen
Exactly.
Shasky is watching. Thank you for tuning in, Jen. Yusuf says, we friends? We are? Yes, cool, next.
Yeah.
No, but it's true. Like, are we friends or we
Yeah,
not? I
after
don't
the
know.
whole romantic thing's like, we're friends, right?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, so see you next week. Oh yeah, okay. See you next week, buddy. Do you hear from him?
My favorite, okay, are those guys that act like a boyfriend,
Yes.
but they friend
Aren't
zone
your
you at every
boyfriend.
turn.
Yes.
It's like, okay then. But
You
I'm
ain't
gonna
my
say
boyfriend.
I'm gonna say that's more on them and their fear and insecurity, I would have to say.
Yeah.
We're gonna
What do you
we're
mean
talking
you went
about
out
that.
with them?
We're
My-
talking
my-
about
what
that.
are you, my boyfriend?
We're
But what do
talking
you
about
mean you went
that.
out with this guy?
Oh, we're
Okay.
talking about
We're
that.
friends.
Okay.
After this light up,
Heather
what
says,
is this?
always the obvious that eludes you, LOL. So true. Shirley says, we ignore the red
heated.
flags. I know, we really do. Heather says, Julia, start a business like the movie Hitch. You be Hitch. We're working on that.
We're working on
on it. Shirley
2020.
goes, Hitch, love it. Yusuf says, exactly. I'll never underestimate the mentality of dragging another person down just to lift themselves up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
100%.
Yes.
Noel C. Crab is watching.
Oh
Hey,
my
Noel,
God, I
how
couldn't
are
agree with
you?
that
Thanks
more.
for tuning in. Sorry, Gary says raw.
Oh
Jimmy
my
says
God.
have a list and
Raw.
ask the date to check all the ones he has. If it's less than half, you better leave. Less than half. We're lucky if we get 2%. All right, so let's get going here. So continue. Let's talk about. Let's talk about like you're now at this relationship that was.
So I'm at this point in my life, and you know what? It was just enough. I had to make a decision to walk away, pretty much run.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I had to escape.
Yeah.
Because this person was not only he was like kind of crazy. I didn't,
Oh,
I had to
no.
come to the
Kinda.
conclusion that You're kind of crazy, obsessive, possessive, and I had to leave that relationship. And I knew that I was also outgrowing this person because I started feeling myself. You know what I mean? There's a sense of me that wanted to find me and grow and explore who I am, right? Because I still haven't done that yet. I'm still living in fear, if you want to call it, right? So after moving on from there, I started dating, right? I moved in with my aunt, and from there I started dating, hanging with my girlfriends, and started to kind of enjoy me and seeing what's out there and feeling beautiful, because I never felt like a beautiful person inside or out.
Right.
And I started dating and so forth. But even that was not even a great thing. You met some odd guys here and there.
Some? Just a few?
And
odd
you
balls.
meet them, and at first it feels like
I'm sorry, where the hell did you crawl
it's all
out of?
good. You know what I mean? And this may be the one. And I think for me, I think I was trying to replace. I was trying to find captivity. I was trying to find some kind of solitude within these people that I was dating.
Right.
But ultimately, it was a bit different because there's a part of me that I was now exploring, and I knew what I wanted. I think, in a sense, but nonetheless, it just still felt empty. Still felt empty, and I decided that I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to shut it down, and I'm going to spend some time with me, because I need to really explore me
And I think a
figure out
lot
what
of
I
time, a lot
want.
of people need to do that.
Yeah.
Right,
They
as
do.
you were
Yeah.
saying.
Yes.
take that.
Yes.
Right.
Date
Yeah.
yourself, right?
Yeah.
That's what
And,
we're saying, right?
yeah.
Get to know
Yeah.
yourself,
I'm gonna take
find out-
myself to the movies.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it's about me now,
Yeah.
And one day I was in my room, and this was probably like 6 months later. I went down on my knees at my window, and I prayed to God, and I asked God to bring the right man in my life. Give me someone that's gonna love me and cherish me, and ultimately make me feel safe. The perfect guy. And my husband popped out.
Look at that. Yes.
Yes.
All right.
I'm gonna
And there
fast
he
forward
is.
it. Fast
I
forward
came to
it.
the rescue.
But we were like actually friends. Like we were friends, knowing each other. And I always thought he was like a really, banging guy, attractive guy, hot guy. But I don't know. I just wasn't. Yeah, I just wasn't.
Can't see it, but I'm blushing.
I wasn't. I didn't show the interest, and it was one day we all got into a car accident, and I don't know. It was like an out of body experience, whatever it was. The only person that I was concerned about was him.
Right.
He was
Right.
the. This is after praying. He was the only person that I was concerned about.
And it's funny, I noticed that. Like,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
paying so much attention to me.
And you know what? You bring
Yeah.
you bring an important. You bring a sorry. You touched upon an important thing. Excuse me, guys. I believe that every meaningful relationship starts with a meaningful friendship.
Yeah.
Right. And the fact
Exactly.
that you were concerned about him at that point in time, did you know that you had caught feelings for him?
No, so at that point, actually, no, I lie. I did. I started feeling the sense of like,
Before that,
want,
or
no, at that moment,
that
after the
moment, yeah,
accident,
yeah.
I don't know. I just started feeling. There's a part of me that just wanted to be closer to him, and it didn't happen right away, but in the back of my head, I was searching. I was always wondering, how is he doing? Oh my gosh, I would really like to get to connect with him and so forth and whatnot. And I did it. I'm not a forward person. I'm not that woman that would go and, hey, I really like you. You know, what's your name? Give me your number, you know, or whatnot. I'm not that individual. But I was so adamant that I had to get to him that I actually found it. So I
got the number that day.
I got the number and I reached out to him. Lo and behold, I found out that he was searching for me as well.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Yeah.
I was also trying to get her number.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Literally,
So you
Yes.
guys didn't have each other's number before?
No.
Like,
No,
No.
because we were friends, but through mutual
For friends.
Oh,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
okay.
Right? So,
Yes.
like I was friends with one of her friends. How's it go?
Yes, you were friends with one
I was
of my
with
friends.
her
Yes, yes.
And,
Okay, if you
she
must know
was
the story,
yeah.
I set him up with my girlfriend
Right.
back then, and then his friend and me and I were friends, courting, if you want to call it.
Yes,
that.
yes.
But it wasn't
nothing really
nothing
came.
that
Right,
I wanted
right,
to
right,
have
right.
seriously.
The chemistry
But we're all
was
good
here.
friends now.
Yeah, so
Right,
but
we're
we're
all
all
just
friends. We're all good friends now. So fast forwarding, we got together. I basically from the day we got together on the phone, we're just like this.
Right,
Right.
right.
Not saying it's been perfectly like this because there's the 21 years of what happened now with Germelin and Yarden, but we just basically fell in love with each other, and we were just there for each other emotionally, emotionally, in every which way. Right, there was that strong connection.
But you got to
and
remember
we-
that's also the honeymoon phase.
Yes,
right? Like the
yes.
I think we got married after 3 years.
We got married after 3 years. We had our first daughter.
after
Right.
A year and a
Right.
half. We had our first daughter. But even then, I didn't know what was going to happen here. It's not like I proclaimed him to be my husband. I just now was in another relationship, and now this is what's going on.
Right,
Right.
right.
But keep in mind again, I was a lost soul. So now I'm finding again my prince, and here I am, not knowing what to do, because obviously I didn't know what to do in the first place. Hence why I got into the other relationships that I did.
And would you say you were a lost soul at that
I was
time?
gonna say that I was just like her. I knew what I wanted. I like from I met her. I was like, no, I wasn't thinking marriage. I was thinking I want to have my kids with this woman.
I wasn't thinking marriage, but I want to have my
I
kids
wasn't
with
even
this
thinking of
woman.
marriage.
Right
but I was
here,
like,
have
oh,
my kids,
she's
will
gonna
ya?
have my
Can you have my
kids.
kids? What?
But we're friends, right? Just
We're
friends.
just friends,
But we're
right?
just friends.
Yeah, we're just
But
friends.
you can have my children.
But you know what it was? It was like coming from my situation, not knowing my father. I was like, I want to have my kids with one woman.
Yeah.
Yes, and
So
me
when me and her
myself.
started
Yeah.
dating, I was like, this is the woman. Not thinking marriage. So now we're here, but I'm broken.
Yes.
Right?
And
'Cause-
I'm broken.
And right, so this is the point. Like we're finding each other. It's all great. We're together nonstop every day, all day. Boom, boom. Fast forward, get married. But here we are, two people broken. We haven't healed. Right? There's no healing that's gone on.
Right.
Right? Although
Yes.
everything seems happy and all good.
Yes.
We're not healed. That
So both
brokenness
of
is
you
still there.
brought all of that brokenness into your marriage.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, and
Exactly.
then after a while, the fun begins because the honeymoon phase is over. So now I'm dealing with me still, right?
Yeah.
With now someone who's permanently in my space,
Yeah.
right? And what I was doing is I was leaning on him to heal me. He was my father in the sense, remember, I always said that
Yeah.
I was looking for
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
rescue.
Savior.
So
Yeah.
I thought he was my savior, and he's going to rescue me and heal all the things that has happened to me from childhood to where we are now. So here I am, doing what I'm supposed to be doing as a wife, as a mother, as a woman, right? And not realizing that there's that broken side of me, and there's certain ways and certain behaviors and certain things that he started seeing in me, right? I remember the first time we got into an argument. I won't tell you how angry I got. We'll leave
We'll leave that. Okay.
But I was like,
You were
pretty much.
angry.
I was
A lot of
angry, and we were.
F-bombs.
I was pretty much in my husband's face, and he looked at me. He's like, you're a really angry woman, and that was the first time anyone has ever said that to me. And to this day, I remember that. You're really angry.
But you
woman.
weren't angry at him.
I don't know. It wasn't
No,
that I was
that's the
angry at
same.
him.
Right.
I was
That's the same.
angry. I was angry about everything.
Right.
Like she's angry at me, but it was amplified.
Yes.
But it was she was angry about
All her
everything
anger
that was
passed
had
on her.
happened in
I-
her life,
yes.
getting to her to that point, and maybe your coping mechanisms have been compromised.
Yes,
Right.
because I
Right.
didn't, and I wouldn't let it go. I wouldn't let go of the pain, and all the things that had taken place.
And letting go is number one, right?
And number
Yeah, you
one.
got to.
But what that was
Got it.
doing, that was tearing down the relationship and my marriage. Ultimately, I was pushing him away, not really realizing that I was pushing him away.
Right, right.
And each time he would basically sway, I would pull him back in, right? Because I need the comfort from him. But I need to be able to, I need to comfort myself. I need to find me and fix me. And even then, I didn't even recognize what that
Yeah.
was.
None of
because
this was connecting. It was, we're just going through life. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
not-
yeah.
We didn't know about mental health or healing from this. Like we're not thinking
Yes.
about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And a lot
What
of
does
people
healing
don't
look
even
like from
talk
abuse?
about
What is
it.
all- What is that? What is
Yes.
that? We don't know about that.
Yeah.
And as Black people, a lot of times we don't look to counseling.
Yes.
Right. Like,
Right.
we're
Or even-
not-
or
we don't
even to
know
open
what that
up
is.
about
it. We don't open
to
up.
who? Like, what are you talking
don't
about?
Oh well,
We're
if anybody
just
is
to
looking
be
for that,
strong
Julius
and-
Grace over at the left
if
over
you
there.
if you ever need help with anything, please contact me.
Contact
But,
Julia.
but
Yes.
please do not catch feelings.
Yes.
I warn you right now, because then I end up getting disappointed. I don't know how that works, but it just works.
It's
It
so
happens.
true, though.
Yeah.
So I just want to say at this point in time, so
Kid,
there
love you.
was some infidelity.
Yes, and
Well,
that's
maybe I'll take that. So
okay. So we'll take,
yeah,
take the lead.
so again, I go back to, and it's not an excuse, but it's just what took place, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
I didn't really know. I grew up, my friends, you know, it's a competition. How much women can you get with, right? Like we're young teenagers.
Oh, it's still
you know what
happening
I'm
to
saying?
this day.
It's still
Oh, yeah.
happening,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Grown,
yeah.
grown boys now, right?
Yeah.
Still
Grown
doing that,
boys.
grown boys,
Yeah.
right? So
Like the numbers are
right? It's
escalated.
like it was dumb. Like it was competition. Like how much girls can you be with in the month? You know, like
Yeah.
you have literally, right? So I didn't know what commitment was. So here I am. I'm meeting my future wife, and I know what I want in my mind. I want to be committed. I want to be married. I want to be that family man. You know, my kids with one woman. But I've never been in a committed relationship. I don't know what that is. So
Right.
here I'm getting with my wife. I'm still young, right? Not using that as an excuse, but I'm still young. And remember, I'm lacking validation from my
Yes.
father and so forth. So as men, we tend to kind of look for that validation.
And this was
Could
around
be
the
through-
time that she was also, like you were saying, pushing Jordan away, right?
Oh, I pushed them away a lot of times, right?
Yeah,
Just
well,
with,
yeah,
with
just yeah, we kind of pushed each other away. Like,
Yeah,
in a sense. Like,
yeah.
it was just that's pretty much what it was. Like we couldn't get close because we're also broken and we're pushing at the same. So we're pushing each other away at the same
Right,
time.
right.
We want to be close, but then we don't know what's going on. You know, so we're
But it's
end
like
up pushing each other
I'm
away.
looking for love, but then I'm not feeling the love from him at times, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
so it's like you're not the person, you're not acting on or behaving or the person who I really want in my life that's gonna rescue me and make me feel love. You know
That's
understand what I'm
it.
saying?
That's
and
it.
it goes back to
And you talk about rescue and salvation and
Yes.
saviors
Yes.
and right?
Because what it is too is we put so much expectations on our partner,
Partner,
like
yep.
that are no one could live up to that.
No.
Right.
Only God,
No.
like
Right.
only God can meet all these needs. That
Yes.
Yeah.
no one person could do that.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
so I couldn't have met all her expectations anyways.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
Because
right.
they're too much for any one person.
Yeah.
For anybody.
It was
You
it
know?
was
Yeah.
a load.
Especially when you're broken and you're trying to look, and I'm looking to her too. My expectations are high. I'm looking for her to validate me, love me. You know what I'm saying? And
But I
and
thought
how
I was
can you do
doing that. I
Right,
thought
you
I thought I was being the perfect wife, and
Yeah.
you know I was cook, I clean, I took care of the house, I took care of the kids, I worked, I was independent, I was all of that. But that's just externally. Like I wasn't giving, but I wasn't loving him back,
The emotional factor.
right?
The
I couldn't-
emotional.
yeah.
Yeah. And the emotional factor is
Right.
so important.
Important.
Yeah.
And same for me. Like I feel like okay, well I'm providing for my family. I'm there for my wife. I'm there for my kids. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing what I didn't even see. Like I'm thinking that's enough.
Yes.
But it's not enough. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't enough. So again, I think your environment and who you have around you
Yeah.
is very influential.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
to your
Agreed.
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So-
Very
yeah.
much so.
Right.
Right.
I felt like I took it for granted. I took my wife for it. Like I can have you here and still be out there running around doing my thing. I wasn't crazy with it, right? But like
Yes, yes.
I would be out there. You know what I'm saying? And now my wife is catching me in these things, right? Catching me messing around and doing these things. So now just imagine now how I'm adding to her
So
already
pain and you
broken,
understand my own brokenness already,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And then what would
Yes.
happen there is now it's a quick forgiveness. No, baby, I'm sorry. It will never happen again. You know what I mean? And then she may be mad for 2 days, but then she forgives me, right? But does she really forgive me? Right? She's not really.
Well, I
she
was-
has
I
not,
was
you
just
can't
gonna
heal
say-
from that just like that.
I
It's
was
impossible,
just
right?
gonna say yes. I agree. It takes a lot, whether it's a man or a woman,
Woman,
right? Doesn't matter who's the one that's feeling the betrayal. That is one thing that's really hard to
Yes. Right.
overcome, right?
Yes.
I know a lot of couples who have been able to overcome, like
Yes.
you guys
Yeah.
have, and it's amazing. It
Yeah.
really is amazing.
Yeah.
And then I also know a lot of couples that just have not been able to, like it's not even a negotiable thing.
yeah.
It's like I can't trust you. You did it already once, or how many
hardest
times?
thing,
We're done.
Yeah.
And I think that it's hard to, because it's almost like you have to question, right? It's like, why? And then the person starts to feel like it must have been me. It must have
Yeah.
been me. This,
Oh,
that, and the
yeah.
other, and it becomes this roller coaster
Yeah,
ride. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's-
everything. It
You have to,
it eats you alive. You're feeling insecure. Your confidence
Oh, yeah.
level is down. You know, you start wondering if you know
No
you've lost-
value.
Exactly. So all kinds of stuff. And for me, I was already feeling abandoned. So here I am in my marriage,
Yeah, I'm
feeling
supposed
a
to love,
sense of
cherish, and make her
another.
feel
Yeah,
secure,
now I'm.
right?
It's almost like it started all over again for me. You know?
I have to tell you, I really hats off to you for being very open about
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Very open and very transparent about it.
Yeah.
That is, like I admire that. A lot of men or people in general wouldn't. So thank you for that. One thing I wanted to ask is, on the outside with your family and friends, did everybody think?
Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, good question. As I stated before, it was all that pretense, right? You know, you walk into the room, you're all confident, you're smiling. You're
Everyone
doing all of
thinks.
it. Everyone thinks. Really and truly, everyone, and even for some listening to us right now, they'd be surprised because they really did not know what was going on within our home and the struggles that we were facing. And ultimately, we
But you
didn't
know what,
even
too?
we didn't even
The-
really.
It's not like a purposeful.
Yeah,
like we're out
intention-
there purposely trying to be pretending. We
Yeah,
actually
see-
feel like
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what?
Yeah.
We've gotten through this. We're good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
Yeah.
right? Like I
You
haven't
didn't know.
confronted why am I doing what I'm doing.
Yes,
She hasn't
confronted
confronted
why am
the
I
pain
why am I going through
and the
this?
healing process.
Yes.
It's just kind of stuffed down.
Yes.
I'm just like, yeah. So we're not thinking we're pretending. But,
Yes.
But you know, I mean, really, we're not healed. We're not good. We're not well.
Yes.
Right? But we think we are. So it's like this delusion.
Yes,
One of the-
yes,
one of the
yes.
words-
Yes.
A word that you used earlier was shame.
Shame.
So I
Yeah.
I was so, here I am, and people are seeing what you're seeing. I mean, we had it good. As much as that, we lived a really healthy life in the sense of the external side, homes, cars, we had our own businesses and all of this, right?
yes.
But not knowing what was going on there. This is why I have Beauty for Ashes, because I lived my life with my mouth sealed. I learned or understood keeping your mouth shut, not talking your business is the best way to deal with things. And that's how I lived through my marriage, right? A
lot of people thought that and still do.
I still do. I didn't
Yeah.
have friends. I had acquaintances, and I had maybe one or two good friends. And even then, I would not speak of my situation
Yeah.
because I still wanted to play
Right.
have that facade that everything is great. And ultimately, people thought everything was great, as I said before. But I went through, one of the things for me is I went through that spell there where I shut down. I didn't talk about it. Only when we're home, then, obviously we know amongst
then,
ourselves.
Remember, she's already coming in angry. So
Yes.
imagine now the video.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my God, I can't even.
What was that? Earthquake? No, it wasn't.
I'm just thinking
It
what
wasn't.
Julia would do. Oh my God, she
Yeah.
can't even. When somebody what do you call it, disses you for a coffee date, you let them hear
Well,
it.
I mean, it's not even that. Like personally, it's happened so many times to the point where now I just don't care.
Yes.
I'm like, I wanted to stay home anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not gonna even lie. Like it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, if I get the text, I'm on my way there. if I'm on my way there though,
Yes.
and I'm like 5 minutes away, you don't hear. I'm like, okay, he's not messaging. Something's up.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm still gonna get my ice cap,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah.
and then
You'll
I
just
get
go
the
on your own.
hey, listen.
Yeah.
I'm like, which excuse? I go through my book of excuses. I'm like, okay, which one is he gonna use? My money's on this one. $5 on the table. This one's gonna use. Then he goes, oh, I had to help my my family. Move some like hardwood from the backyard. I'm like, that's a new one. Let me write it down.
That's a new
And
one.
I'm like, oh,
Creative. Very
Tuesday
creative,
night
right?
at 11, at 8 o'clock. You gotta move the hardwood in the backyard with the fam. All 8 members.
Wow.
All 8 members.
They're all waiting for you.
Excuses.
Okay, I'll remember
Oh
that.
my God, we can go
Oh,
on.
but then
and
the
on.
same
But
guy
I wanna-
messages
I
you
wanna talk
after,
to
you know?
No, oh my God,
And-
that I actually haven't heard the hardwood floor excuse.
Oh, you
That's a good
haven't?
one.
Oh, I have.
That's a new one.
That's an amazing
Oh, yeah.
one.
I have heard. Oh, I forgot that I have to take my friend to the airport. Oh, you just realized that you
Or I
didn't
gotta
know
help my friend
2 hours
move.
ago.
My husband's used that excuse. I gotta help my friend move.
Did I?
Yes,
Let's
you
look
have.
into that.
You have. Not to me. I heard you say it to your friend.
What
Oh,
I
to somebody.
Yeah.
Okay.
what I want to ask and hang on, let me just I want to acknowledge a few folks here, but what I want to ask and to give you a minute to think about this, Yarden, is and this is really important. Well, I'm asking as a woman, but I'm also asking on behalf of our viewers and just people in general, is that we talk about tonight, and we've often talked about this: the emotional connection, the physical connection, intellectual connection. And I truly believe that you can have an emotional connection with someone,
Yeah.
but end up physically connecting with somebody else. Or you physically connect with someone else, but you're emotionally connected to someone, okay? And I know, because I you know, I've got friends, I got family. It's happened to me and what have you. And you're emotionally connected to your wife. You love your wife. But you were obviously running, if we can use that terminology, because you
Trying to
were,
find myself in a
yeah,
sense,
you were
right? Like,
maybe
you know,
trying to find yourself and validating yourself. If you don't mind, if I may ask, because I've asked a few of my guy friends this, and they always come up with the same answer. When I say, how did you feel like afterwards? And I actually asked a couple of my friends over the course of time as we were prepping for certain shows, you know, and you know what they've said to me? Absolutely empty and void. That's what they said.
Yeah, yeah.
Because what
it's-
they're
yeah.
looking for,
It'll never fill.
right,
It'll never get to- That void will.
right.
That
runs
will
deep.
never fill that.
That
void.
will
What
never.
it is, what it actually does is, you keep. It's funny because you feel bad after. You feel like crap, and because you feel like crap, you actually keep going back to it.
Yes.
But you keep
Fueling
going
that
back
tank.
to it, no matter how, and you keep going back to it. But it's insatiable. You'll never fill that void. Not in that way.
Because you're kind of hoping to validate the action,
Yes.
but it's
That's
actually
right,
not
that's
being
right. You'll find new
validated.
ways to justify it.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. But you never feel.
Right.
And then what happens to and I know this because I have friends too. I noticed this that. Especially if it becomes something that's habitual now that
Yes,
you're doing,
it's a habit.
you bury down even the guilt. Even the
Oh,
shame,
my God,
You
yeah.
bury it down altogether.
Altogether, you bury it down. It's still eating you up, but you're burying it. So now, remember what shame. So you don't even feel good about yourself, right?
And then you
Because-
start feeling
because that's
worse,
what shame is,
right?
It's not guilt. Guilt is you know you did something bad. You feel guilty. You did something bad. But shame is telling you that you're actually a bad person.
Right.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know that shame, and you can disguise it. You can act like it's not there. It's there.
And
Yeah.
then based
And it
on what
comes
you've
out.
just said, how can that person who's feeling that have any kind of pure relationship, pure emotional
yeah.
relationship with any woman, even if they love her or like her, or it's almost virtually
is impossible.
impossible.
One of the things,
Yeah.
a sign is that he used to
Yeah.
get angry with me, and I couldn't understand where it was coming from. So just like he said, the shame and the anger, that's
angry
how
with himself.
Right. He was actually, it was himself that was angry, not me.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to the comments, and then I want to ask you guys how you guys came back together.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay?
Yes.
All right, just taking a look at the, we're good. Okay? All right, so we
my
got,
gosh.
let me just see here. Shirley says we all need to take to heal, and that's when the growth starts.
Yes.
100%. Ryan says, I remember being told by several of my close family members that I was ugly and no one would love me. Oh my goodness, Ryan, what the heck?
Yeah.
I don't like your family members, which had led to me trying to be the nice guy who would suffer abuse just to prove I was lovable.
Yes.
However, once I learned to love myself and appreciate the value that I bring, I was able to speak up and say what I expected in terms of how I should be treated.
Yeah.
Once I learned to love myself and appreciate myself, it has made a major difference in terms of what type of woman in my life. As I like to say, I refuse to exchange my diamonds, no matter how unpolished, for shiny glass beads. Very well
love
said.
that.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness, Ryan. You know, we get to know Ryan more and more with every show, and he's always opening up about what he's gone through. I say this. I don't like your family members.
You are beautiful, okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
You are beautiful.
Know your
Let
worth,
nobody
tell you
and you know what? If you need your family to make you feel less than what you are, that's a pretty sad state of
Yeah.
affairs.
Yeah.
You know. Shirley says, amazing, Ryan. Heather Linus says, I have to disagree about the list thing. If you tell a potential partner your checklist, there's a huge risk of them conforming to that list to appear to be what you are looking
Yeah,
for
that's
instead
true.
of being truly themselves. Did I miss the list thing?
We missed.
No, we were just talking about like in a more in a jokingly term, like, oh yeah, we're gonna bring that Tesla. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But no, even in general, there are people out there like
That have, like-
listen, I saw your profile.
Yeah.
We need you not to drink the red wine and make you drink the white because
Yeah.
I don't like the red wine. So that's
You know
on my
what?
checklist.
I always feel like forget the list.
That's
Like,
control.
no, but you know what?
Yeah,
There's that list
okay.
of like you know this, that, and
You're
the other,
sitting
like
there
very superficial things.
Yes.
I always feel that I end up caring for people that are actually very raw.
Yeah.
And very not superficial. That's not the word I want to. That means like fake. Very.
Pretentious.
No, that they're raw, that they're real, but they're like in need of something, that they're going through stuff, but they're very open about what they've gone through, and they admit their imperfections and what have you. And I always seem to, you know, end up caring for those people, and I don't think that's a bad thing. It's just because I can relate to people that are just raw and real.
Yes.
Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yes.
I don't have a checklist of all that pretend. I don't care. I
Yes.
couldn't care less,
Yeah.
because at the end, you know what I always say? Love and loyalty.
Yes.
Love and loyalty. Shirley says, good point, Heather. Ryan says, friendship is the foundation of family. Shirley says, love ourselves first. We have to validate ourselves. Absolutely. Maxine Thomas is watching. Hi, lovely. Thank you for tuning in. Maria LaPera, is watching. Excuse me. Monique Fisher Anderson is watching. Monique, thank you so much for tuning in.
Hey, Monique.
Yusuf says he had to move the hardwood. LOL.
Oh yeah, I just made.
Lorena's watching. Hey, Lorena, how are you? One of our loyal viewers. How you doing? Happy New Year. She says, Happy New Year. She goes, thank you, girl. Same to you and your mom. Michael Ragusa is watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. Ryan says, seeking validation from others is akin to chasing a sweet-smelling vapor, which you
right.
cannot consume, thereby leaving you always feeling empty and disappointed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very true.
Very
Vicky
true.
Gibbs is watching. Hey, Vicky,
Hey,
how are
Vicky.
you? Okay, we're
Happy
going to get
New Year.
to, we're in the last kind of 15, 20 minutes of the show. So talk to us, walk us through how you guys came back together. And I'm going to tell you, because I think there's a lot of people, and I could be wrong here. Maybe I'm not, but I think there's a lot of people that give up too quickly. Especially
yeah.
with the, you know, I can just delete, I can just block, I can just unmatch, I can
yeah.
just, they give up so quickly.
There's a shame.
Right?
There's a shame to stay. You get shamed for staying.
Because you're thinking of what other people
right?
are.
Because everybody's saying, no, your friends are saying, no, get away from her.
Yeah.
Get away from him. No, he's no
Yeah.
good.
He
That's
doesn't
what he
love
did.
you.
No,
Yeah.
get away.
Right,
So there's almost
right.
a shame if you do stay. When
Yes.
really, it's actually very noble of you to stay and fight. I'm not saying you should just. That's if the person is
Willing.
wanting to change.
Yeah.
and,
Yes.
Yes.
You know, you're
Puts in the
seeking
work,
counseling and
right?
getting
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
for that help.
Yes.
You know, give it a shot. Don't just give up. Right? I'm not
Yes.
saying sit into it indefinitely and just continue to be abused or cheated on or whatever. Don't sit in it. But
your choice,
people-
right?
a
But you
lot
said
of couples-
change.
Yes.
Like if
Right.
people are willing to change and
Yes.
put in the work and maybe put in some, like you said, counseling and other things. You know what drives me crazy? It's those people that like say sorry and I'm sure they mean it, and want you back and this, that, and the other, or want to fight for you, but they haven't changed anything.
Yes.
Same old ending, same old ending. It's like, you know what? I'm not going through the same old ending again.
Yeah.
exactly.
There's no way. I'm not
Yeah.
going through this pain again.
Yeah.
But if you're fighting for that, I think it's definitely
You
worth
And
it.
you can come out on the other side
Fine.
stronger.
Yes.
A lot of times you come out stronger because it's never just one person.
Yes.
Right? They may have done the heinous act, but there was a problem within the relationship dynamic as well. It wasn't. It's not just the infidelity,
Right.
per se, but right. The faithful one, will say,
I didn't do anything.
it's not their fault.
Yes.
No excuse for it.
Yes.
Nothing justifies it. However, now when you start looking at the relationship, they also got to look at, okay, what's going on with me?
What part did you play?
Right, what was I not doing or bringing into the marriage? What you know? What I mean, what was broken in me, or how come I allow this, or whatever it is? You got to do
Yeah.
some soul searching yourself.
Yeah.
And you see when the two of you really put in the work.
Yes.
It's hard work. It ain't easy.
Yeah.
It's hard
It's not
work.
easy,
It's
right?
a-
It's an up and down
it's-
road.
it's
It's not a
difficult.
straight line to
It's difficult
victory.
because here you have
Yeah.
a relationship.
It's not a straight line ever.
Never. So here you are as two individuals that are broken. We had to make the decision to change, make a change. Because if we don't, it's just what it is. It's just dead. It's done. And Yard and I had to really, I think we hit rock bottom. Like we hit it so
Right,
hard
right.
Yeah,
that
what we've even shared with you guys is
It's-
just not even.
it's
the
not
full
even-
story. Like,
the show
you're gonna have to
is-
wait for the book.
It's the tip of the
You gotta
iceberg.
wait for
The
the
book,
book. You gotta
yes,
book.
yes.
The
I'm
book is coming.
co-authoring it.
So-
I'm writing it for you.
yeah.
Like,
I'm
we're-
writing a few books actually for people.
yeah.
There's a lot more to the whole story.
There's
There's
a
still a
lot
lot more,
There's a
but-
lot more.
And you know what? And you
Couldn't
guys are
talk
just
about
giving
all
us
at once.
no, and you guys are just giving us
We're just
like the
giving you a window.
you know exactly and to say that there's so much more, imagine.
Yeah.
And sorry, I want to just ask one thing or maybe just mention this, and I'd love to get your perspective on this. And Julie, I don't know if this has happened to you as well, but and to our viewers. So about a year and a half ago, I was talking with this one guy, and we were friends, you know, and but we were just friends. Like we talked all the time, and we developed like a bond, and we were very, very close. And you know, like Julia said, not necessarily a therapist, but you know, you're there for one another. You share perspectives. You're
Yeah.
advising this, that, and the other.
You're there to
you know?
support each other, not just one end.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
there to support each other,
Yeah.
you know. And he was attractive, but I didn't really see it like that. I was just like, you know, and you know what? Listen to me. At the end of the day, I almost feel like I appreciate more true male supportive friendships who care about me than those potential relationships that end up hurting me, let's
Right.
say,
Yeah.
because they can hurt you, and not even hurt you, they disrespect you before it ever goes anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anyway, so we got talking, we were talking a lot, and we were, you know, supporting one another. And then all of a sudden, he says to me, you know, he goes, I feel like a real emotional connection with you. And he goes, and I haven't felt this with a woman in a long time. And I kind of felt the same. I was just like, you know what? It is a very emotional connection, intellectual,
Right.
emotional.
Yeah.
There was no physical, as in we were not like that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So but I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't want to overthink, but I was just kind of like, you know, are we just friends? He hasn't friend zoned me. I don't know. Is this going to go somewhere? But again, I go back to every meaningful relationship starts with a meaningful friendship, but both people have to want it.
Yes.
Both
It
people
can't be
have to want it,
one-sided.
you know. And if one person has the intention of this and the other person does not, you know what? It can get messy because you're going through this thing, hoping you're going to get to the same end result, and in the meantime, he's going
One
one
that
way,
way and
you're
you're
going the
going-
other.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he says we have an emotional connection, but he also tells me that he had a friend with benefits. Actually, a couple friend with
A
benefits.
couple.
But because
I
I'm
barely maintain like my 10 friends, let alone a couple friends with benefits.
or maybe 3, I don't know.
Right.
But because I was his friend and he could confide in me, and he wanted to get advice and whatever. So I get that. Like, he had an emotional connection with me that he wasn't getting with his friends with benefits, because that was all purely sexual, right? But physically, he was getting that from them, you know?
Right.
And then I called up one of my guy best friends. I remember this. And I said to him, I go, can I ask you a question? I go, can you like a woman a lot but sleep with someone else? He goes, yeah, I've done
Yeah.
it. And I'm not ashamed. I mean, I'm ashamed, but I've done it. And I'm like, well, why don't you sleep with the one you like? Oh, it's not that easy. It's not that easy. It's
Yeah.
complicated. It's always complicated. You know, I always think it's like black and white, but it's not black and white. Do you know what I mean? And I learned something last year with that situation.
Really?
I did, because I was like, I always thought, you know, being married with my husband for 3 decades, I always thought, you love and you're emotionally connected with the man or woman that you sleep with at night, you know. But there's so many layers and so many levels.
Because right now people are just having emotional.
They're just having
affairs,
exactly
Emotional
affairs,
affairs.
right? And
Yeah.
it's just no physical, just emotional.
Sometimes they just do that.
connection, right?
But what about the ones that just want the physical but are afraid to have the emotional? Like that's the other thing too.
Well,
Or
that's
the
another
ones
way
that
to
have the
punch.
emotional but are afraid to admit that they're having the emotional.
That's men, right?
Yeah,
My head's going
men.
to
With
explode.
all due respect, we love you.
What about
You
the
know
ones
what
that
I
have
mean?
the
Titles.
emotional?
Back.
Too much titles.
No, but it's true. So okay, so let's before we get to final thoughts, let's ask you guys, what's the one thing from the time you put in the work to get you back to a very healthy space in your marriage? What's the one thing that you think both of you did, either individually or together, that helped bridge the gap and bring you back together?
Well, I think first and foremost, we had to really confront what's going on and be true to the situation.
Yeah.
And accept it. My husband said it earlier about people giving up. I was a fighter from way high, and
She should have left me long time. So
and
she
but
fought.
She fought for you.
I
Thankful
wanted.
she
That's a
did.
good woman.
Yeah,
did,
I
yeah.
hung on because it wasn't about what
Nice.
he was doing. It's the person that I saw behind what he was doing, and
Yeah.
I knew that person wanted to come out, and I wanted to, as much as it may, people would judge me or how I maybe, since I felt shameful, inside or insecure, or whatever it is, I wasn't ready to let go of my husband, and it maybe seemed foolish to even think, well, why would you want to stay with someone that's like hurting you and just keep opening the wound
Yeah.
all over again?
Yeah.
You get
Yeah.
cut, you cover it, you
Yeah.
band-aid it, and then
Yeah.
it opens up again.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I just could not let go. I wanted to enjoy the person that was behind that
In the
mask.
end, you love him.
Yes, and
In the end,
I love
right?
I love my husband to death. Like I love my
But
husband dearly.
With even her not letting go, there was also that was also part of your brokenness because you also didn't put up a boundary.
Yes,
So
the show can go
Oh.
on all night.
Yeah, we
The
can
show
go on.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
the boundaries.
Like-
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Like,
Boundaries.
I wasn't. There was the there wasn't
Like the therapy sessions at 3 a.m. You really need to put some boundaries.
I haven't
There
slept in
wasn't
3
that
months.
constant-
Add that in.
Send help.
Yeah.
I wasn't made to feel the
Joking.
pain of
Yes.
she might walk out or she's gonna walk out or, like,
Or
I wasn't-
saying no
there
and
was no
sticking-
the consequence. wasn't
Right,
there,
right,
Which
right.
also enabled me to
To
sweep it
continue.
on the wrong or and maybe do the wrong again. So as much as there's still that, but that's again.
That's another.
Yeah.
That's another. That's
Well-
right in the book.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
overall, yeah.
But
she
that's a
was
good
just
segue.
fight.
That's a good segue. So,
Yes.
guys, I want to just mention, if I may, so we've been promoting this for the last couple of weeks, few weeks anyway. Next Tuesday night, we are launching Anything Goes to Business edition here on Frequency 5 FM at 7:30. And we're starting with Andrew Cordero on Tuesday night, who's going to be talking about startups and entrepreneurship, followed by the following Tuesday with Joseph Stetter, who's going to be talking about careers, recruitment, and the job market, and followed the following week with Kim Bassler, who's going to be talking about health and fitness and dieting and overall, mental mindset. And then, of course, on the last Tuesday night of the month, on January 28th, we have Jermelyn Barnes, who is going to be taking this forum for an hour, who's going to be talking about modern dating and relationships.
Yes.
And these guys are going to be on every month for the next several months.
Yes.
And we really want, it's still going to be the anything goes flavor and the anything goes movement and
Yes.
flavor, and we're doing our vibe and we're doing everything.
Yeah.
But we're really getting to the heart of the business side of things. Yeah, because you know why? Because we talk about all
have fun doing
yeah. Oh,
this.
and you know what? Listen, even when I worked in the corporate space, they probably hated me, but I was a corporate rebel because
They probably
I wanted
did.
to have fun. I wanted to let's have a dance party.
Yeah,
let's
let's
have a,
do-
I
yeah.
was not like one of those stuffy,
Stiffs.
and this is
Like, Morella,
no.
stay in
and-
your cubicle and keep your opinions
no,
to yourself.
that's not me. So we're bringing that, vibe to the show. But with business, I still feel like we can talk business and share helpful, insights and
Yes.
provide a lot of knowledge and a lot of guidance and wisdom on these different topics,
Yes.
but still have some fun.
Yes.
And so Germaline's going to be, inciting a lot of information. So I want to mention that. The other thing I want to mention is she does Pillow Talk every Friday night with Yarden on her page, Beauty for Ashes. And they're so raw, so good.
Yes.
And then I also want to say, and we talked about it at the December 5th event, and we've been talking about it with, teasing it a little bit. Look for some collaborations. We're going to be
Yes.
doing some Anything Goes and Beauty for Ashes workshops, and I think
Yes.
it's really important. I attended, just going back to a few weeks back, I attended Germaline's Beauty for Ashes workshop, and it was an afternoon, and what I absolutely loved about it, there was a dozen or more women there, and what I really liked about it was that everybody came in there has a story,
Yeah.
and everybody was kind of a little bit apprehensive at the
Yes.
beginning,
You saw
and then
that.
well, me, I was like, but that's me. But there was a time when I was apprehensive
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Right. I felt a little like, I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't
is
know
it okay?
how much I want to share. I'm feeling kind of raw about all of this, you know? And then at the end, it became this fantastic like healing session, and it was really good. And Germaline talked about the levels of various relationships, and not just relationships with a significant other,
Yes.
but others, So we're going to be doing some stuff together, and I'm really excited about that. And this is something that's, really, really important. And
Yes.
I just wanted to mention it. And if I can do a couple of plugs as well, even though he's in the Bahamas, and hopefully you're having a good time, I want to give a
right?
shout
Lucky
out
guy.
to our official sponsor. He doesn't know it yet, but he's our 2020 official sponsor again.
Congratulations, you've been promoted for another year.
James Casco and James Casco Real Estate. Thank you so much. I also want to give a shout out to Joseph Stetter of the Celebrate Group, and he's going to be on our monthly Anything Goes to a wealth of information. Definitely want to mention that. And like I said, we're going to be back next Thursday and every week with women's stories. When I say about women's stories, not that they're different than men's necessarily, but every woman that we have on this panel that's going to be coming on, right?
Yes.
They're really going to be talking about, and I said this, setbacks,
Yes.
Yeah.
comebacks,
Yes.
and learning to love one another,
Yes.
but learning to love
yourself.
ourselves.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's
So
very
important.
important.
Every single
So
person.
Yes,
important.
you can't love anyone until you learn to love yourself. It's perfect. It's real. Like when I used to hear that, I didn't understand what that meant. No, right? I want someone to love me. No, I gotta love me and embrace me to know what I want and know that I can recognize when somebody is really showing and pouring love into me.
And can I say something before we just get into the final thoughts? You guys all said it, and I really appreciate it. I don't know if this is good or bad. I don't know. I don't have the answer. But one of the things that I've been doing is kind of called self-preservation. So let me explain that. Like in the last maybe 2 or 3 years, I've kind of opened myself up to trying to find love again. You
Yes,
know,
yes.
I'm never going to have the same love as I had with my husband. It is absolutely irreplaceable. I had it. It was unbelievable. And I'm so blessed for so many reasons.
Yeah.
But I've been opening up about, even finding like a companion, someone that gets me and that I get them and stuff. But when I say self-preservation, it's exactly what Julia said. Like, I feel like I have to be very careful that I'm not investing myself emotionally and then prepping them to go to someone else.
Yeah, yeah,
And that
yeah.
scares me.
Yeah, that's
What are
exactly
your
it.
thoughts about
But
that?
sometimes people just come along and they're just draining you.
yeah.
Right? They're
Yeah.
draining all they can. from
Your
you,
emotional
but
fuel.
sucking- yeah,
they're
just sucking.
draining
And
all
then you're
that
left
other
with
you,
nothing, and
then
they're
you're
on to the
Yes.
next
left
relationship,
Yes.
and you're like,
Right?
And sometimes you're just like, I just
okay.
want to be
Yeah,
left
yeah.
alone.
Right? No.
Like, I just want to sit in my room by myself
Yeah.
with my damn thoughts.
Yes.
Maybe a stuffed animal or 10. Okay.
And some sushi.
And some
10.
sushi.
Slice of pizza.
And I
Yeah.
just want to be like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, no. Instead, 3:00 in the morning. Hey, you up?
No, but is that
I
a fair? Is that a
wasn't.
fair
Yeah, that's
statement?
very
It's a
Yeah,
fair
yeah,
statement,
definitely.
And I'm fearful of that because it's like you have an emotional connection with someone and you develop feelings for them, and then all of a sudden you're going, wait a minute, and then it could very well be that you're prepping them for someone else. And so one could argue that I could be overthinking, but you know what? If you go through certain situations enough times, you start to see the
it. You see it.
warning signs,
Yeah, exactly,
right?
Exactly.
Because that person is also like, they're it's like you're meeting a need. You're just
Yeah.
really meeting a need in them.
Yeah.
Right, but there's no commitment there. There's no relation, like you know.
There's friends with no benefits.
Right.
At all. Like not even a coffee and holding hands.
Carrying you out to the dinner or nothing.
Like
but
not
you're
even a
giving them all
McDonald's
this emotion.
drive-through.
Oh, don't get me
Fuel.
started.
Right?
You want to know disappointment? Never mind the guy not showing up for a date. It's when McDonald's ice cream machine is low and you're craving a damn milkshake. Sorry, we don't have our ice cream machine is low. I'm sorry. I traveled here with a headache
And a
it's my time
snowstorm.
of the damn month. Okay, there's a snowstorm. It's minus 35 degrees and you got no milkshakes.
Followed by, okay, forget the milkshake. I'll take a poutine.
Fine, I'll just take a poutine. Sorry, man. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
poutine. Okay, perfect. That will be. Oh wait, sorry, we don't have poutine. You got fries? Yeah, we got fries. Then put some gravy on it.
Yeah.
Then you got yourself a poutine. More.
Right?
Oh my
I've
god.
been through so many drive-thrus with her. I laugh every single
See, I'm
time.
heated again. See, look at that.
Sometimes a girl just wants a milkshake and poutine.
God, my hair is gonna fall out. That's all
I
I
gotta
want.
tell you, you guys have been unbelievable. When we go through our final thoughts, you can certainly talk about what being on here has meant to you and anything you want to plug and any. I mean, I tried to
Sorry
do
if
the
I
best
hurt your
I
ears,
could
people.
for everything that we're doing here. But okay, Julia, over to you. Final thoughts.
Oh, we're starting. Okay.
No, we're
So,
starting. Oh, we're starting. Are your final thoughts for the first show of 2020?
My final thought. So number one, my final thought regarding McDonald's: never go there between the hours 11 p.m. and 3 o'clock in the morning because they won't have anything. You go before 11. Okay, before 11 for your cravings. Right.
Is it before 11?
It's always before 11.
Yeah, let me
That
jot
one
that
down.
down.
Right, it's
Yeah.
always before 11
Yeah.
on weeknights. On weekdays, just don't go because they don't have anything except for coffee and muffins. Okay, now.
Coffee. We could go to Tiz for coffee.
Yeah, I know, right? Like a scone from McDonald's. Okay, anyways. So other than that, 2020, let yourself shine. Love yourself. Don't ever give up on yourself
Yes.
or on
Yes,
anything.
amen.
Yes.
If you have your low days where you're just like, I can't do it anymore, remind yourself, go to the mirror and say, I can do it.
Yes.
I can do it. I
Yes.
may be hurting, but remember, there are rough patches in life, but remember, when you go through something bad, all you can think about are the good things.
Yeah.
Right? You don't think about that thing that happened over there or that thing that happened here. You think about those good things. So you focus on those positive things, not those rough patches, because
Yeah.
those will heal over time.
That's right.
Right? So that's
Very
my
good.
final thought.
right.
Are we
Love
getting
you
a
guys.
Are we getting a song tonight?
No, that's all I got.
Are we getting a song tonight?
Somebody to lean on me. I will be a friend. I don't know the lyrics, and I'm just gonna go
Freestyle it.
to McDonald's after 3 p.m. And if you don't have my poutine,
Baby.
I'm gonna shank you with my Nestle water bottle in my car. That's all I know. Other than
was
that,
good.
stay positive, love yourself, and have a great
Stop
one.
making
Yes.
me laugh. Okay,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
awesome, Julia.
Yeah, that was good. That
Like
was
even freestyle. Okay, before we get to yarded, okay, hang on a second. Oh my God, you're too funny. Lorena says, I'm good. And you, Marilla, how was your Christmas and New Year? You know what? It was good. I'm glad they're over. I got to be honest. They were very stressful,
Yeah.
That's
but
funny.
they were good. Thank you so much for asking. Isaac is on. Hello, guys.
Hi, Isaac.
Happy
We
New
miss
Year.
you.
Thank you,
We
Isaac.
miss
We
everyone.
miss you. How are you? Lorena says, I'm very glad to see you both on Facebook Live again. Missed you, ladies. Thank you so much. Brandon is watching. Thank you for tuning in. Walter is watching. Thank you. We've got Natasha Williams watching. Thank you for tuning in. Vicky says, yes, for self-love and spreading the love. More people should follow your leads of sending love. Thank you, ladies, for spreading continuous love and positivity. Thank you so much, lovely. Really appreciate it. Vicky says, pizza. Yes, exactly.
I'm ordering some when I get
we
home.
always talk
Right?
about pizza on the show for some reason. It's all good, though. Yusuf says, good show tonight. I learned a lot. You guys rock. Oh, and McDonald's, fix your damn machines.
I know, it's 2020 and you're still dealing with the same problem from the 90s.
No, but it's so true. I'm serious.
I
You know
think
what?
it's time to email corporate.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what?
Exactly.
As parents, we never want to see our children heartbroken, okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
There is nothing more heartbreaking than going through a McDonald's drive-thru when this kid's having a meltdown and she goes,
my
I
gosh.
want a milkshake
You need your
and I
fix
want
and-
poutine and one or the other will be fine, and they tell her that both are not happening tonight.
There's a place I know in Ontario where there's no poutine or milkshakes. 0 burgers, but they got scones. And I just can't believe it. What do? I wanna go, but I just can't. I'm gonna shank myself. Oh yeah, if you don't come up with some food, yeah. I'm gonna slap you over again. You better give me some poutine. All in Niagara Falls. Please buy your tickets now.
That was so good. So good. That's my kid. Oh my God, so good.
Heated again for the 10th time.
Thank you, sweetie. That was amazing.
Continue.
That
I
was
had to
awesome.
put that in there.
That
I
was
just had to.
awesome.
Yarden, final thoughts for you.
Final thoughts. Listen, man. It's 2020. We're the first on the show. I just want to thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Because we
You're
met
welcome.
late last year.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
just met. And the relationship is just, and I'm just really honored to know you. I think you're
Thank
doing
you.
an amazing job. This Anything Goes, this whole movement, I think it's awesome, and we're just really happy to be a part of it.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. That means a lot.
It just showed, I mean, for us to start the year off like this, it just goes with all the visions we have and all the goals and the plans that we see, and
Yeah.
and we see what's coming, right? And that's really it. And I mean, as far as relationships, my wife is gonna we got Pillow Talk we do on Friday night. We want you all to tune in. It's it's candid. We we like the feedback too.
Oh, it's great.
Yes.
It's
Ask
very
it,
candid
if
and
you guys
raw,
wanna
you
talk,
know?
if there's a topic you
Yeah.
need us to talk about, we want to
Let us know.
entertain that. We
Let
want
us
to.
know.
Okay, we have a
wanna
topic. Why do guys want to meet at Tim Hortons at 2 o'clock in the morning
Here
wearing
we go.
sweatpants?
Joseph, please book us for another 2 hours.
You want the answer?
Pillow Talk, Friday night.
That's a Pillow Talk. One. That's a Pillow Talk.
Oh
one.
my
That's a
God.
Pillow
We know
Talk
what
one.
kind of connection that is.
Oh, yeah, there's no pillows involved.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and all I'll say is, like, one of the things that was what helped us and what moved us forward was we put God first in
Yes.
our marriage, and that's what
Yes.
was really the game changer
Yes.
for us, and also a willingness to want to change and be better, right? So
That's
yeah, man.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Very much to be admired. Thank you.
Amen.
Great final thoughts. Great final thoughts. Chairman Lynn. Live studio audience, all 200 of
I
them.
love that.
Okay. So just to reiterate what my husband, just said to you and Julia, it's amazing when you meet good people, great people. You feel, when people are really truly authentic and they're real with you, and to have the opportunity to come on the show and display our truth. At least a portion of our truth.
Yes.
And to feel comfortable doing that, it says a lot. I feel that one of the things I promote, and I will continue to promote, is, not to hide behind the mask. Be real about what's going on. Be real
Yes.
about you.
Yes.
Because that helps not only yourself but help others. But the ultimate goal is to help you get through the tough, whatever that situation is for you. And don't hide about it. Come out and be okay with it. Be okay with it. Hug it. Embrace it. And know that you're always going to come out on the other side, a better version of you.
Right.
And my husband and I went through our struggles, real serious struggles. What a lot of people would have given up, hands down, walk away. And maybe some may say, well, why would you have stayed in? But I'm here, and God's good. And we've had to really find ourselves, like I mentioned before, and really, say to ourselves that we want to do this together. But ultimately, we have to change individually and come back together and do something with what we've learned. Because one of the things that we don't do is we don't share some of the things that we've learned, like real lessons in life.
Right.
And my husband and I are here today speaking to you and speaking our story. And also, one of the reasons why we created Pillow Talk is just for that, is being able to talk about things that happens in relationship, the struggles, the ups and downs, like real things. You know, a lot of people walk around fake and pretend like they don't have problems in their marriage and in their relationship that they may just have started,
Everybody got
or whatever the case may be. But,
Or if they don't have problems yet,
Go to the ear.
they're
Yes,
going
they're
in.
going to
They're
exactly
going in with already not dealing with their
the
problems from before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's very important that you understand that you need to deal with yourself first before you try to, you know, deal with somebody else, you know, and that's a really, really serious learning. And we right now, our goal and our mission is to, you know, share our circumstance and deliver it to those that want to hear, and hopefully those can share on with other people to say, you know what, relationships are hard, there are struggles, but you can get out of it, you can fight through it, and you become just that picture. And right now, the man that I wanted is here with me and has been with me, you know, and continuously growing together because we're learning each other. We didn't learn each other before. We just learned what we saw. But now we're learning each other, and now together we're one. When you're married, when you get married, your purposes become one, right? We weren't one. We were divided. Hence why everything was falling apart. But now we're one, and we're together here, as well as other areas. We're able to speak about what that looks like and how it feels. So thank you so much for having us here on the show to be able to speak these words to your audience and also others that are watching, and that it would be great to share this with other people.
Absolutely.
Right? And like I said, there's so much more. We just don't have enough time.
Oh, this is just
but
like
this is just the beginning.
This is the beginning.
Yeah, and
The book will be coming out
The
soon.
book will be coming out, but stay tuned to more relationship conversations just like this on starting this month. Every Tuesday, I will be delivering. Every last Tuesday of the month, I will be speaking about relationships and the struggles and the datings and the so forth and whatnot. So and
stay tuned, you guys. You want you want to ask questions. You want to know. You want scenarios. You like listen. Jermeline's a relationship coach, and she's got a lot, you know, of knowledge and a lot of wisdom. And one thing I appreciated, like I said, even when I was at your workshop, the first thing you came out with was, my life isn't perfect. This is what happened to me. And you put it out there. And as soon as you did that, any walls that were up from the other women
went down.
It went right down.
Yeah, there was a comfort in there.
Yeah.
I mean, women opened up. I mean, saying things that ultimately we hide and we don't talk about. That alone, it just changed everything in the room.
Beautiful.
It was beautiful. It was a great setting, and I love it. And I would love to see more of those, you know, collaborate. Like we said, we collaborate so we can, you know, engage with more women so they can open up and feel a sense of healing.
And more has to be discussed. And I feel that when we talk, that's why Julie and I, like, we talk about our shenanigans and our experiences and all of our whatever, because you know what, it's real life. We're not hiding. It's real life. Like we sit there shaking our heads going, oh my God. But you know what's interesting? Like I said, my daughter's in her 20s. I'm in my 50s. But yet we have the same. And I used to think to myself, my God, it must be me because, you know, like I've got baggage. I'm older. You know what? The millennials are dealing with even worse than I am. I'm not dealing with nothing.
You know how many people say,
you know?
including myself, like this is not the generation where, like, my generation is we're not getting married.
No.
We can't afford it, nor do we have the patience.
Yeah. We have our daughters. We have 3 daughters. We have a 23-year-old who's actually going to law school in September.
Amazing.
We have a 20-year-old and we have an 11-year-old. And for them right now, the dating world is not.
It's a whole lot of mess.
It's a baggage. But one thing for us, one of the things when you asked earlier, what changed? You know, how did we get back together? We have kids. We have girls, and my husband had to also step back and look at the fact that he's a role model. You know, ultimately girls look at their father to see, okay, this is the type of man I want in my life.
That's right.
So he had to look at himself and he had to look at his girls and think to himself, no, I need to be a better version of me so they can see what a real man looks like. And to carry on in
that's
life,
very
right?
important. You know what, that's very important.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Guys, my final thoughts, first of all, again, happy new year, the best of 2020 and this decade to all of you. We're so happy to be back tonight. I swear I felt like we missed last Thursday because we took a bit of a time off. Well, we were working, but we still took some time off. We weren't here Thursday night, but I said, I miss it. Kind of feels empty, you know, not doing this. So thank you guys so much. Thank you again, Frequency Frequency 5 FM, Maria, Joseph, and all of you viewers, loving supporters of this, you know, the show and the movement. And like I said, we'll be, well, next week we're going to be back. I'm going to be back. Julia's going to be working behind the scenes, but I'll be back on Tuesday night, 7:30, and then again next Thursday night at 8 o'clock. But my final thoughts are, you know, in the context of talking about, you know, love and dating and relationships and all of this, all I really wanted to say was, you know, don't be so hard on yourselves, and don't always spend time, you know, too much thinking or overthinking. I've tended to do that sometimes, and then I just let it all go. You know, it got to the point where it was like, yeah, like I'm afraid to take risks, but now sometimes I do want to take risks because, you know, finding that special person and fighting for, you know, having that love, and I had it, it's absolutely, you know, worth it. So don't be too hard on yourselves if a potential date doesn't go the way you want, or they don't show up, or listen, you saved yourself having to, you know, get out in the snowstorm, right? But like just, and, you know, I could sit there and say, oh, it'll come when it's meant to happen. At the end of the day, you know what? If you put yourselves out there or you don't put yourselves out there, don't be afraid to feel, and don't be afraid to want something that you know you deserve. Don't settle. Don't dumb it down. If you like someone, let them know. If you care about someone, let them know. And you know what? Don't even overthink it. Just let the chips fall as they will. And those are my final thoughts for this evening, you guys. Thank you again so much. We will see you next week. And in the meantime, have a wonderful rest of the week. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Oh my God.
You're so good.
That was great. Fantastic, guys. Give us some.
Where's our jam? Where's our jam?
I don't know, but I'm dying to pee. But the soundtrack of clapping is the best.